we have Veerpal with us today. So, Veerpal, can you tell us where you're from and what do you do for work?
Absolutely. You all know my name now, Virpal, and I'm from Vancouver. I run a full time skincare business in Vancouver. So it's a busy lifestyle that I have. So, yeah, that's a little bit about myself. I am a mom to two boys, married to my husband for almost 20 years now.
That's awesome. And one of the things that I want to dive deep into is when we talk about trading and options trading, the perception or the assumption is A, you can't do it yourself because you need to hire a financial advisor, or they say you have to work part-time or you have to kind of do this full-time. How have you been able to do this before I even got in the picture? So this is before you even joined the group. How were you doing before that?
So obviously, I joined your mentorship, I think more than a year ago, actually. It's been, I
Yeah.
think, a year and a half at least.
Yeah.
Prior to that, I had the basic knowledge in option trading. I was part of a different group, but that was not so much the education. It was more so, okay, call outs. So not necessarily learning. Yeah, I had no strategy, no confidence when I came to you, yet I felt I was advanced. I don't know why I was thinking. But yeah, prior to joining your mentorship, I was trading. I was making money, losing money. There was no consistency. I think I was feeling very overwhelmed with how my trading career was going. I was kind of losing hope.
There's a lot of things that you covered, which dives deep into my other question, like what challenges. Now, when you're answering this, I want you to think from someone, let's say, who's watching this that has no idea about options trading. And I feel like this is something that most people don't know because I do one on ones with new people all the time. Most of the challenges and struggles they think that they will face are all technical related, options trading related, but that's probably 10% of that. So, what were your true challenges? I know you talked about confidence, but what else was like something that you knew that was wrong, but you couldn't figure out what to do about it?
I would have to say fear of losing was one of them. I was so attached to my trade that the moment I was making money, I was ready to sell. The moment I was losing, I kept on holding, hoping that it will just go the other way. And then the next thing I know, it's like my whole position went to zero. So I had that issue when I joined your group, and that's something we worked on. One on one. We worked on mindset. We worked on not over trading because that was another issue. Because anytime I lost, I was kind of like a revenge trading as well. So yeah, I had unfortunately some habits that I think many new traders have, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. That sometimes you tend to overtrade. Sometimes you're entering a trade without really having a plan. Because I remember you mentioning you can't really enter a trade if you don't have a plan. For example, if you're going camping, I still remember that you always say if you're going camping and you're going without any equipment, how are you going to camp? So same idea, the same concept. You have to enter with a plan, and you should be able to exit with a plan as well.
So one of the things that's been extraordinary with you is you're very resilient. And
Mhm.
I think it's part because of that you're a business owner, and anyone that's run a business knows that the income isn't consistent. The problems aren't consistent. You're going to have a new bottleneck every single time you hit a milestone. So I'm sure you still deal with, losing money or taking profits too fast, but how have you been able to somewhat mitigate that?
So the biggest for me was, having our one-on-one calls, and we get to the root of the problem, and we're very transparent. I mean, you have been very transparent with me as to what I'm doing wrong. So one of the biggest thing that we were able to pinpoint was over trading, because I sent you a log, because I log every single trade that I take, and I sent you the log, and you were like, okay, your profits are there, but you're taking them either too soon or you're over trading. There's no reason for you to do X number of trades in a week. And that was an eye opening for me. And I thought, okay, more doesn't mean more. More could mean losing more too. So
Right.
I think for me, that was an eye opening. The moment you said, okay, let's do less trades. Like in January of this year, for example, I was able to double my account, right? Just by doing 4 trades. And I was shocked. I'm like, wow, like you can actually trade this little, which worked beautiful with my lifestyle, with my business, because I can't be sitting in front of my computer all day.
Yeah.
So for me, that was the biggest awareness, that I don't have to be sitting in front of my computer 9 to 5, or whenever. Like for us in Vancouver, it starts at 6:30 in the morning, and that's when I need to get stuff ready for my boys. So there's no way I could do that every single day.
That's phenomenal. So what made you reach out for help? even before you thought of me, what made you think, okay, you need help?
So the program or the group I was in, I just felt like I wasn't growing. I wasn't learning. I remember signing up for your 5 day
Challenge, yeah.
program, the challenge, and my husband had actually I signed him up, but I sat with him. And as I was going through the challenge, I was like, wow, how come I don't know this? I've been trading for a year. How come I don't know this? So there were a lot of nuggets that I was able to take away from that challenge. That I was like, okay, 5 days can teach me this much. How much more can I learn from you? So I said to my husband, I'm like, the program that I'm in right now, I'm not really learning. And he said, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to sign up. So instead of him signing up, because he's also a business owner as well, he's like, I don't have the time for this. I said, I would love to sign up. So I went ahead without even thinking. I went ahead because I could see how much I could learn from you.
Is this the first time you've ever paid for mentorship? Like, I know you were in before a different group. Like, this idea of paying someone else to get to a destination much faster isn't something that's instilled in us,
Mhm.
especially day to day. Most people kind of try their best to learn from free resources. Like, where did you learn that from?
So I was actually invited to this group that's run by one of my former friends, and I was in that program, so I wasn't obviously paying her anything. But I feel like in order to learn, you have to invest in yourself as well. So I was willing to pay for this to learn, because if I want to my finances to grow, I can't expect something for free. So I
Yeah,
was ready
no.
to invest.
And you read a lot too, right?
I do read a lot of books.
I feel like that's where it comes from, like subconsciously, because buying books is the cheapest form of mentorship because you get to hang out with like a millionaire or a billionaire or someone who's super smart, but you get it at a cost of a book.
Yeah,
But I also think that you have to be ready to retain that information because everyone takes out different information when they read a book. So it
absolutely.
depends at what level you're at. And I think that's where it stems. It did for me because the first time I paid for mentorship, I was looking at the cost. And then I went for the mentorship, and the person said, broke people look at the cost or the price, and rich people look at the value. That's the defining thing. And then the other thing they said is when you are looking to make a decision, don't ask yourself what happens if you do it. Ask yourself what happens if you don't do it.
Yeah,
That's if you believe in the program. If you don't believe in it, it's not going to change much.
I
So
agree.
let me ask you this. Is there anything when you were doing this that prevented you from signing up? And I'm asking this specifically because there's a lot of people that are stuck somewhere and they want to push the button, but they don't. What made you? Because I'm sure you had doubts, and this is one of those spaces where it's important for you to be skeptical. Can't just trust everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to pay for the program and to pay for the entire year, right? Because a lot of the programs out there are on a monthly basis. So for me to pay that lump sum all up front was a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I had to talk to my husband about it. I'm like, okay, and it was a USD and I'm in Canada. So
Yeah.
obviously I had to figure out. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm at that stage in life where it's either this way or that way. What do we want to do? And obviously we had that discussion, and I was very certain that things are gonna work out. And I took the first step and I signed up.
What would you say is your biggest takeaway from mentorship?
The one on one is a game changer, because first of all, we get to talk to you. It's not like someone else, right? We learn from you directly. So that's one thing. Second thing is, like, it doesn't matter what questions we have, you always have a good response. It's not like, go look it up. What did I teach you? I told you about this. So there's none of that. There's no judgment. It's always like, okay, how can I make it better for you? How can I make you understand? Like, the amount of knowledge or the education that I've gained, I had 0% knowledge in market. And now my family is always asking, it's like, what do you think? Right? So it's like it's a proud moment for me being a South Indian or a Punjabi. I feel like it's not common for South Asian women to be learning trades. So for me, it's a huge thing as well, that wow, I can look at a chart and understand what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think that's important for me. Like when someone asks a question, they feel respected because look, they're these people, like we're adults. We're not like in school where, and I don't want to kind of call teachers out, but there's a lot of times where the bullying starts in the class by the teacher. I think with me, one of the biggest things, I understand you guys have jobs, businesses to run, your parents, there's stuff that I look at every day that you might not be looking every day, might be looking once a week. So you're not purposely being lazy or something. So I think that's where it comes from. And I do all my assessment before I even take people in. So I make sure I don't take anyone that's like basically not willing to learn. So I always say trading is a business. So let me ask you this. When I was going to interview you, one of the things I said was I'm interviewing someone who made $40,000 last month. And I only said this because that's the only way people pay attention. If I said that I'm going to interview someone who has an excellent risk management, people wouldn't care. It's for some reason, the way we've been programmed, it's the outcome we focus on. And I keep talking about the outcome focus will only lead for you to have inconsistent results. It's the process. So let's talk about your trading business. How has it been going? Ups, down? How have you been doing in the last year and a half?
Yeah, so let's talk about last year. When I first started, I definitely had a great luck in the beginning. I was making good money. And then I started playing recklessly. I started over trading, started to trade some high risk tickers, and I did blow up my account. And every time that happened, I would reach out. I'm like, okay, Mom, I'm taking some time off. And like I was very, very transparent and honest with you that I'm not doing good. I need guidance. I need support. I need some hand holding. And you were always there. So last year was up and down. I took some time off to reset. But then January, that's when I was like, okay, I need to stop. Like, I can't be trading like this. If I really want to grow, I need to set some rules for myself. I need to have a discipline, just like I have discipline in other areas of my life. Why can't I have discipline here? So when we had our last, like in January, I think we had our one-on-one, and you said, you know what, like, let's do swing trading. Let's focus on swing trading. And that's what we did for the month of January. I think I did 4, maybe 6 trades. I can't remember exact number now. And my account was able to grow, was able to take, let's say, 10K to 20K within a month. And that was just seeing that growth made me, like, it gave me so much confidence that, yes, it is doable. Then during the month of February and March, I was away, so I took time off. So my thing with trades is that you don't have to trade every single day. You don't have to be sitting in front of the computer every single day if you want to make money. Swing trading has worked wonders for me. Then, of course, with so much happening in the market right now, when I came back to the market again in April, it was all over. Like, I was like, oh my God, I can't do swing trading, and I'm not trained in day trading. I don't like doing scalping. So I was like, okay, I need to pivot. I need to do something different. So in April, I watched the market. I took some trades, and then I realized that because the market was so uncertain, I started to lose money again. So I was like, okay, this is not working. Like, there's something we need to figure out. So during the month of May, I decided to pivot. I decided, instead of day trading or scalping or swing trading, I'm going to do a little bit like a different approach. So I decided to still trade, but instead of trading option trading, I decided to do stocks. So instead of like doing, option trading, but I was still looking at the call outs that you gave. I was still looking at that. So based on the information you are sharing, I was able to do a little bit less risky, right? Buying stocks. And just by following that, I was able to grow my account to like the 40K. That's where, a lot of it came from. And this month so far, it's been good. I won't share the number this because I like to share at the end of the month, but the
Of course.
numbers are still looking really good. And I have taken, I think, one trade this week, which is today. We took one trade, and that trade's doing good. So I still do option trading, but not the same amount like I did in the past. So I think in market like this, it's so important to pivot as well. Just like in our group, you have been sharing day trading. I've been part of that challenge as well. So it's a new skill that we're learning, which is phenomenal. So yeah, that's where the journey is so far.
What I believe in, before you make 100 or 1 million in cash, you need to make that in your mindset, right? You're a business owner. It's not like this money will change your life. I know it's a substantial amount, but it's not like it's not going to do anything insane in your life where you wake up tomorrow and you'll do something different. But there had to be a shift, right? Going from you're very good with understanding what your opportunities and what your strengths are, which is why, like, when you were in the wrong, no, I don't want to say in the wrong group, but when you were in an environment where you think I wasn't growing, which has happened to me multiple times, where I'm like, okay, this isn't working. I'm going to join another group. This doesn't work. I did that like 15 or 16 times. That just shows that you're adaptable. But there had to be shifts. So what would you say has been a shift inside you that has gotten you here?
I feel trading with the right individuals, with the right mindset, because whenever we're in the group, it's not like, okay, what's next? What are we watching next? It's not that go, go, go kind of attitude. It's more like, okay, let's assess the market. Let's see what's happening. You know, if there's nothing, there are days we haven't taken a single trade, which I love because the expectation in the group isn't that either. No one's saying, okay, what's next? So I love that attitude, that culture in the group where we all are busy individuals. You have a lot of professionals in there as well. And I find that for me, the mindset shift has been next level, like mindset. I'm very good at that, but I feel like you have helped me get to where I needed to be in terms of how to train with the right mindset when it comes to trading. Because trading is a different mindset.
Yeah.
Like it teaches you so much about who you are as an individual. In the beginning, I remember I used to be so anxious and I would be like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. Like it's so hard. And I never thought I was an anxious kind of a person. But the moment you realize that you don't have to be trading every single day, like it's a different, like things shift for you in a way that you don't even realize. Like I'm at that phase in life in the trading that if I'm not sitting in front of my computer at 6:30, it is okay.
You don't feel the FOMO, right? That,
Yeah, no.
so in 2020, when I started trading, we were part of a really massive group, about 2,000 members, grew to 20,000, and we made money, all of us. I think the more reckless we were in 2020, the more money we made. So then we were like, okay, that's what we need to do. After 2021, I realized the game isn't to make money, the game is to keep it. That's the
Yeah.
game. Because
Yes.
so when 2021 we opened mentorship spots and I would interview people, it would always start with like, I made 90K in 2020, but I gave it all back. That's how every single time the story went. So then I'm like, I need to get really good at risk management because that's what it's going to be about. Then came day trading. I think the way my personality is, day trading does not give me the peace that I need. And for someone who's working on a course in day trading, shouldn't say that, but that's the truth. I want to do it so I can pass on the skill, but I don't necessarily want to do it. I want to do it when I want to, not because the thing is, when you learn a skill, you see the chart and you're like, I could easily take this trade. The problem is the moment I hit buy, now I'm committed and I can't leave my chair
Yeah.
because it's day trading. We're trading 0 days. So that's the only thing that I've learned over time, that the game is figure out what gives you the most peace, learn it, and then go in the process of compounding it. And goal is keeping the profits, not maximizing it, because when you go for maximization, your risk tolerance keeps going up.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that Mark Douglas talks about is every single time you flip the coin, the odds are always 50-50. But that's not
Yes.
how we think. The way we think is if you've had 10 winning trades, you think 11th will win. And if you've had 5 losing trades, the 6th one's going to be a loss. So and this isn't something like, oh, the problem with you and me, this is how all of us think. When we get in that euphoria stage, we go all out. When we go in that fearful stage, we are very defensive. The goal is just be somewhere in the middle. So only do that if you can find stuff that gives you peace. But
Absolutely.
so now I'm going to ask you a few questions that people asked on social. And this was my favorite question. This person is asking, what made you start? What was your why? Because I know your why, but I want people to know that.
So I am a mom, and my first priority is being able to spend time with my boys. And running a full time business, it hasn't been easy, especially in this market. And I don't see myself doing this for the rest of my life. I want to have financial freedom. I want to have place freedom. I want to be able to make money, not necessarily from my business, but from anywhere. Like I want to be sitting at the beach. That's what I visualize myself, sitting at the beach, making money. And trading can do that for me. So my why was, okay, how can I change my lifestyle, or how can I bring in more finances into my life so I can have the freedom that I'm looking for?
I was talking to my marketing person and I literally told him that most people miss the part of time freedom, place freedom. I could be in Dallas and do this. I could come to Vancouver. And
Yeah.
there's so many people that I'm meeting here that own brick and mortar businesses. And they would trade places with me, even though their net worth is like 10x, but because they're stuck.
Yeah.
And they're working with low margin businesses and dealing with escalations, and
It's
customers
stressful.
aren't willing to change.
Yeah.
because things are changing, but they want the same service, same price, and that's not happening now. Second question person asked, or a different person asked, was did you set an amount where you would exit the place? So let's talk about your 40K a month. Were you like, how did you figure out when you're going to exit? What strategy did you use?
So when it comes to options trading, I give myself, so I always have a stop loss. So I don't necessarily like have a stop loss, but mentally I have a stop loss. So on my chart, I always say entry, exit, and then if it goes below or above that level, I need to be out, like no strings attached. So I am out. So that's how I do with option trading. The moment I pull up a chart and I'm buying options, I have these three lines on my chart and I'm very, very good with it. So it's not like the moment it hits it, I have to be out. I'll obviously look at the chart and see, okay. So that's one way. So that way I know I'm managing my risk. Second way, when it comes to stock market, so I'm not looking into stocks that are, so I don't do penny stocks. I do mostly stocks that have volatility. I'm looking at like Nvidia, the Mag 7, for example. So I'm trading those, with some of them are high risk. So, and my goal is not to hold them long term. So that's what I've been doing with the stock market at the moment. Is some of them, like my portfolio has a diverse, it's different tickers in there. So some I'm holding long term, but majority of them, my goal is to make percentage, let's say 20-30%, and be out. And just because I am trying to compound those profits and build my portfolio at the moment.
That's awesome. What's your process of research of stocks? And I want you to think, because a lot of these people, when they think about stock market, they think fundamental. They look at P ratio, they look at how the earnings are. What does your research consist of when you're picking these stocks?
So one obviously is in Discord, we're always talking about on a weekly basis. We have a meeting where you have a watch list that you bring. And then so I always take notes when I'm watching those. And then I bring my own. So the ones that I am doing research on, I usually have Yahoo Finance that I will go on just to read the news. And then I do have Twitter. So and I follow some of the accounts that you have shared with us in the past. So I have some of those accounts. So I'll, focus on maybe like two maximum. I don't look at 5, 10 different ones. And if I haven't heard of something, I don't even look at it. Like I try to look at something that's in the news. So for example, SMCI, right? We're looking at it. So I just stare at the chart, I look at it, I try to read news on it, try to read as much as we can. And then I always ask, you if there's any flow on it, because we have to follow the A plus setup that you have shared with us. So in order for me to enter a trade, I try to look for the key levels and all that kind of stuff. So if I'm not sure about something, I usually ask in the chart, what are your thoughts on it? Can you guide me through it? Or I'll ask Karn about the charts. Can you share the chart? Because I love how he charts his charts. So it just makes it easier. So that it's not just the process that I have on my own. I include the team. I reach out to you. I rely on your weekly calls that we do, and I rely on the charts. So it's a combination. So it's not just one thing on my own. It's a combination of asking for guidance.
Let's take this to everyone that's watching it. So you're a full-time business owner. You have a pretty established business. It's not like something you're doing part-time online. It's a pretty established business. I know of
Yeah.
it. Then you have kids, so you're a full-time mom as well. Do you think it would be, and I'm gonna lowball because people would think for a lot of people, it's an insane number, but I'm lowballing here. Do you think making six figures for a person, is that hard doing what you do? To 100K this year
No.
for you?
I think if I can do, let's say, 40 in a month, it's only gonna go better from here on, right? I don't have a goal. I'm not gonna lie. I used to have a goal. I used to say, okay, I want to make X amount.
Yeah.
The moment I let go, because I think you have engraved in my head that don't focus on I'm only gonna do X amount of trades to make this much. The moment I let go of that, I just let those trades come to me. If there's a good trade, I'll take it. And whatever profit I can collect on it, I will. So to answer your question, yeah, it's achievable, but I feel like for me, it's a bigger goal.
I know.
It's right. So yeah, it is. I feel like discipline, right mindset, right guidance, they all play a role in it. It's not something I could have done on my own or just by following random individuals. If you want to succeed, and I'm not just saying it because we're interviewing, getting interviewed, I'm saying it because it's a different lingo. Like trades, it's not something you can learn on your own. Like you do need to have a mentor who can guide you step by step and teach you what you're looking at, right? In order to grow your portfolio, you definitely need a professional to help you.
Absolutely. One thing that I'll say to you is what I've experienced is like when I worked corporate, they used to make us doing SMART goals. So you would basically set timeline and set measurables. I think goals often act as ceiling more than they help you push. So also your ceiling will be always what you've made the most. So for
Yeah.
instance, and I had this conversation with someone who is a pretty big business owner and they deal with 7 to 8 digits. They're 3 months into options trading and they said they already made 100K. And the
Okay.
reason why they made 100K is because they're used to big numbers. And I think when you focus on numbers, the only place you're ever going to get to and you'll max out is what's a lot for you. One of the things that I learned from my mentor was that money isn't a concept, it's a construct that we make. Like 100,000 might be so much for someone, yet 100K would be someone's monthly living expense. So I'm very careful setting monetary goals. I think the goal should be based saying like, okay, I'm only going to take A plus setups, or I'm only going to take 3 to 1 risk. This is stuff that you can control. Your goals, you
Yes.
can't. Like next month, let's say we don't like, I'll give you an example. Iran and Israel get in a full on war, US gets involved. No matter what we have, it's going to go down unless it's defense. So you can't control that. Do you blame yourself? You will if that's the goal you set. Final question. For anyone watching this, would you recommend this program to them?
100%. And the reason for that is if you're looking to gain knowledge and to clear the confusion that you have about trading, option trading, whether it's option trading or just trading in general, this program will help you because the amount of knowledge that I've gained, honestly, when I reflect back on my knowledge from 2023, because that's when I started, I'm just like, wow, like I have come, like I can look at a chart and I can draw levels. I could do so much now. So anyone who's a beginner, yeah, definitely they can. I'm just trying to think like how far I've come. That's why I'm struggling to answer this because I feel like there's so much. It's not just learning about trade. It's like you offer a package that's not just about teaching a skill. You actually go deeper than that. You tap into the mindset. You tap into why you're so attached to your trades. Like I feel like I got to know so much about myself that I didn't know before. So yeah, it's like a whole package. It's not just about learning, it's also about getting to the root cause of why you trade a certain way, right? And then from there on, you're able to clear a lot of the confusion that many of us have on a day-to-day basis. And what I love about this program is that if we have a question, the answer is there. It's not like we're waiting for your days to get that answer, right? So the guidance is like right there. Like I ask questions throughout the day and you're pretty quick in answering, right? Like if you're online, you're right there. Our goal is not to be behind the computer all day. Sometimes you're working out, so I understand that. So I'm not like desperately looking for an answer right away. But what I love about our little Discord group is that if I don't get if I know the answer, I'll try to answer it for like, for you, for example. So anyone who is thinking about, don't look at the cost, because when it comes to the cost, you're kind of putting that first. Like for me, I always look at the value, what I'm capable of in a year after learning, right? Like you can grow. Let's say the investment is X amount, you can 10 times that growth with that education that you're going to learn.
There's about 6 or 5.5 months left for the end of the year. I want you to watch the interview after the year's over. What does success look like for you? What would be the thing that you've achieved and you're like, okay, so this is my goal. I achieved it. I'm successful. What's that for you?
So obviously, you got to have a goal, and I don't like to put a value on that goal. Success to me is when I can make like the value, like the amount, if I can double it than what I'm making right now in my business, for example. That would be success for me. And is that something I can do? 100%.
Basically, if you're making, let's say, 100K, 200K, in just trading alone?
Not business income. It would be what I'm getting paid in the business
Oh,
because I am
okay.
right. So business obviously income is way bigger, but what I'm making in that because I get paid. So if I can double that, that would be a huge success for me.
Thank you so much for this feedback, Veerpal. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you.